Yo, what's going on, guys? So I just wanted to discuss a little bit about, just market corrections in general. I haven't been around in the market for that long, and I've done a lot more trading of, Bitcoin and stuff like that actually throughout most of my trading. But, I basically, when I first got into stocks, during this COVID crash here. I actually, when I saw this thing down in the $18,000 level of the Dow Jones and shit, and I kind of got in roughly right when it started running up here. So I got in a pretty good time. So obviously I haven't really experienced too much of this, the bear market of the stock market per se, because I kind of got in right around here, and it's only been going up really since, with a few minor pullbacks, of course. So, I wasn't around throughout all of this period. And that being said, although I haven't, I still can look at a chart and I can see, certain things in the chart that's going to tell me if something's going to drop or if it's going to continue higher, and so on and so forth. So my last video on the Dow Jones was, right around this point here. And I was talking about us coming up and breaking this level. And if we broke this level and held support here, which we back tested, we could run up here. And, I have targets, and I still have some targets up in this $33,000 level based off of the old all-time high in this range here. As far as the, this is obviously a break of the all-time high, but this would be potentially a resistance point that you would, some traders would be targeting. So, I just want to talk about the potentials of if this was to roll over. Of course, it doesn't have to roll over, and you can see here on the 4-hour RSI here that we actually, we got a nice little W on the RSI here. But, and it almost looks like we could get a little roll back up here on the MACD, potentially. But, what I do want to talk about, though, is the way that this is looking sort of like a big M here. And as of right now, we do have bearish divergence forming here, unless, of course, this RSI could come up a little higher. But I'm just trying to keep my eye on it because I'm looking for warning signs. And, we discussed in that last Dow Jones video, and you can tell that this RSI moves quite slow. But we talked about in that Dow Jones video that I was nervous of this becoming some type of potential head and shoulders pattern to cause a bigger correction here. And, if you look down at this MACD here, you can kind of see that the daily MACD is rolling over. Now, this moves very, very slowly, a lot slower than all the stocks that we, are always looking at. This daily corrects very slow. So you can see that since the last video I made, I don't know if it was a couple weeks ago or what, we kind of just started building the potential of this bigger right shoulder. So you can see that on the RSI last time, we had a head and shoulders pattern right here, which caused a nice drop down into this range here. And, we bounced off of the Ichimoku cloud, which I don't know if I have it out. I believe it was, we bounced right off of this Ichimoku cloud support here, and then we ran back up. Now, what happened was when we fell below that white line there that you can see was when we actually started rolling over on it here. So, as of right now, we are still in, potential bullish scenario here, bullish territory, I guess I could call it. But, the fact that this RSI is slowly rolling over on the daily, it makes me a little bit concerned that we could actually have one more, correction in the Dow, and depending on if it just comes down to bounce off of this Ichimoku cloud again, it comes back up, or if it comes down to this red support that I kind of have drawn there, which would be roughly around 29,890. It's tough to say exactly where, if we do fall, where we would fall to. Obviously, we're getting a lot of spinning tops here, which would just show uncertainty, of course. But then at the same time, spinning tops signal downside as well in most scenarios here. So, you can see here we got a couple spinning tops prior to this fall here, and we kind of made this M. And this is sort of looking like a potential of a bigger M here. So this was more of like a rising channel, in my opinion, or a rising wedge rather, and we did break out of it. But now, because we're just moving so slowly, we're getting a lot of this buying. So we can still maintain this bullish trajectory here if we can hold this 31,300 level, which is kind of my support here that I'm watching. But, if we do break that, then the fall could come down pretty good. I mean, we have obviously support here that we can still hold at this, well, at the time, if it was to fall, say it fell tomorrow, which I don't think it would. I think it would take another couple of days here, 1, 2, 3, 4, maybe another week or so. We could fall to this 32. And if we were to break that, then we could come down to this 30,700. And, if we fall through that, we could come down to this line if it wants to hold, or this might turn into like an M pattern of some sort. And I believe that it's the same way as a W. Your breakdown would be potentially something like that, which would bring us down to 28,674. So I'm not too sure if we would fall that low, because as you see in the past here, when we fell to this level, this was roughly where our RSI went. So even if we came down here, we could end up creating some kind of W here and coming back up. So if that was the case, then maybe we would catch some support here somewhere, which would be 30,737 roughly. So that's kind of what I would be watching as far as that. Now, of course, if we do have a head and shoulders pattern there on the RSI, then the breakdown would actually end up being a little bit bigger. And depending on how it went, we do have this strong support further down if we were going to come down that high, of course, which is around 25,000. Am I expecting it to come that far up? I'm honestly not that sure right now. The weekly candles aren't looking terrible, and we have a lot of support here at this 30,776, which also coincides with that support that we talked about. But you can see that this white line is starting to roll a little bit, and if it does in fact roll over, then we would be looking at a bigger downside here. And this RSI as well is rolling as of right now. It is starting to roll, and we do have bearish divergence on the weekly. You can see that this price action right here, if I get rid of this green line here, this price action where we peaked right here prior is showing it's higher on the left than it is on the right here. We're lower down here. And if you look at the price action above, we are obviously, as you see here, higher on the right here. So the only way that we could actually confirm that that's not bearish divergence would be if in fact we somehow or started to round up here over the course of the next few weeks, and we continue to hold this level where we're at here, or as low as 31,300 roughly. So if we look down in the hourly here, you can see that we are obviously starting to correct a little bit, or we did have a pullback there. We had some bearish divergence right here and right here, And, we're just kind of continuously emming out a little bit. Now, of course, we're making W's as well, but for the most part, we're not really breaking out of these W's like a normal, W would be the size of this part of the W, and then you'd extend it, so on and so forth. So this choppy action, I've always heard when I've done research on like stock market corrections and stuff like that, there's this part in the, in the stock markets here that it's called the distribution phase. And the distribution phase is usually the time when people start really taking profits, and the stocks start kind of looking like this choppy action here, where it's not really going anywhere, it's just kind of bouncing around. And it's kind of concerning that could be what's going on here. If you look over here, we kind of had a little bit of the choppy action, not quite as much. This is on an hourly, but if I go to a daily, maybe it'll show it a little clearer here. So you get this kind of like squared off choppy action here, like we're getting here, and we're kind of starting to look like we might M out here, depending. We could just double bottom, like I said. We had kind of the same choppy action here with the same style dip there. So, and then we had a bigger M right there. This was kind of a big M, as you see. So, it's just something that I'm trying to keep on my radar here, because, we could end up having some type of big pullback. I mean, we're at all-time highs, so it's harder for people to want to continue buying these type of bigger commodities here, or assets, whatever you want to call them. It's harder for people to want to buy them when they're up at all-time highs. So it makes it a little bit more nerve-wracking here. But, if we were to just say that this was a rising wedge here, that actually might be too big. Let me go down here. If we were to say that this was actually a rising wedge here, then, and say we came down, we broke down from this level here, somewhere like in this area, it looks like it could catch support here right around the $30,000 level, 30,230 roughly, depending on if we fell, a little bit further out like this, then that would probably coincide perfectly with this 30,259 if we do actually come down here. Looking at the 4-hour time frame as of right now, it doesn't really look like we are going to fall here. We just kind of had this nice candle, but as you see, every time we've had one of these candles, even though usually this is like more of a bullish style candle per se, but we've had this like red 4-hour candle or a spinning top or something. So we're really going to have to keep an eye on what's this next candle going to be here. And if we do fall, like this could just come down here and bounce off of this 31,300 or so anyway. But, that being said, the reason that I am even discussing this anyway is just because, it's all fun and games in stocks when we're making a shit ton of money on all this stuff. But, obviously corrections happen, and it doesn't mean you need to be completely fearful and sell everything you own and this and that, or sell anything for a loss. But if you do have some profits and you've been holding stuff for a very long time and you're massively, in profits, depending on how you feel, if you want to hold it long term, that's fine, of course. But if you're just doing short-term plays on penny stocks and stuff like that and you're in profits, make sure you guys set your stop losses and stuff like that in profits, and or you're just always setting stop losses in general when you're entering short-term trades. That's what I'm always doing. I'm always setting my stop losses 5% below my entry price. That way, if if anything was to happen where we have some big pullbacks, we are set to get out and have cash on hand, even if we have to take a small loss. So, like I said, this isn't a video like trying to scare anyone or anything like that. But what I did want to talk about a little bit was just, hedging yourself if need be. And by hedging, I would mean, for me, I actually just positioned myself today, in the short Dow, which is more like a leverage stock basically betting against the Dow Jones here, that if it does crash, then that stock will go up, or if it does correct, that stock will be going up here. So that's just kind of where I'm at right now, and I did actually close a few positions that I had that were either at break even or weren't down, very much, so that I could have cash on hand just in case. And right now, any play that I keep trying to get into is just, to me, is just trying to catch a falling knife. And although I like these big dips and I like to think of them as buying opportunities, watching a lot of these stocks fall through support completely is kind of making me a little nervous, because I do like to buy dips and I do like to buy stuff for long term. But at the same time, if everything's just breaking complete structure, to me, I don't like that. I'd rather wait it out and see how it, where it finds support and all that, and then maybe keep an eye on it, maybe do a couple breakout trades, this and that. So I did go into a lot of cash. I did actually, believe it or not, and this could be a bad move potentially on myself, but we'll see. But I actually did buy some Tesla today, right at the end of the day here. Now, of course, this looks like garbage if you look at the chart, and it kind of does to me as well, which is the only scary part here. So looking at Tesla here, obviously we fell out of this like downwards falling wedge, or whatever you want to call it here, that I was kind of hoping for another breakout of, if we could have broken up in this level here, which obviously we did not. And everyone's been buying here. It's been sitting here so long that it just kind of started emming out and everything. So, I did end up picking some up right around the 711, 712 area here. Now, the only reason that I decided to do that, even though this could be, like I said, catching a falling knife and everything like that, was just only basing it off of one thing and one thing only, which is why I said this could be a bad decision here. But I'm kind of expecting that tomorrow, since we're still in this green support box. Now, of course, this could come down to $686. So, I could have been screwing myself here. There's no real signs of any bottoms coming on here. But if we look at this TD9 flash here, I got a massive green TD9 flash on the daily here. So, do I usually buy those right away? I don't, but usually if I look and see a TD9 flash coming in, I'll wait it out and see what the next candle looks like here. But in the past, there isn't many times where it's failed. I mean, you can see that we got this big green TD9 flash. We did still have another red correction kind of day here. We bought back up, but after that we kind of ran up pretty far. And you can see that there's many scenarios here, in more than just Tesla, but most stocks here, the green TD9 flash to me is a pretty good sign. But like I said, it's not always perfect, because you can get this green TD9 flash, you can still have negative, and then you can run up after. So like I said, me buying that right now might not have been the best sign here, but you can see another green TD9 flash there when we ran up. And so getting this green TD9 flash to me was another one there, so on and so forth, was kind of like, oh, maybe I should actually take a buy on this, even though it doesn't look too pretty. So what I'm kind of thinking I'm going to do is I might run it up to this trend line here at $750, and then if it does in fact hit that, I'll probably just put a stop loss at like 730 or something like that, and see what happens, and just take, because I think I bought like 2 or 3 shares of this, just for a short potential swing, and we'll see how it works out. I mean, it might just dump on me tomorrow and come back down to the 685. I mean, we have this red support box, resistance box down here, or support line, which was once resistance at 641. So I'm kind of watching this, but I did see on the hourly here, that we are way oversold here, way down here, and that to me is like a sign that we could at least maybe run up here to this line here that I have, which obviously we don't even, it didn't even seem to hold support at all. But what was I going to look at? I wanted to look at one thing, which I don't know if I'm going to be able to find, because I couldn't even find it for my damn self, was the SDAO. Let's see if I can find it real quick through this millions and millions of stock that I have. Oh, right here, look at that. Whoops, that's not it. S-Dow right here. So let's look at the S-Dow and see if there's anything actually telling me that that it was a good move or not, because I don't know for sure if I made the right move. But like I said, I'm willing to kind of hold this thing and wait a little bit and see if even if it takes a couple weeks for the markets to correct here, I want to see what's going to happen. So you can see on the 4-hourly here, we came up. We haven't really actually held support above this white line here, which you really would want to see. So, buying it up in these levels where it's at might not even be the best play yet anyway, until you actually got over maybe one of these EMAs, 1153, something like that. But, it is starting to look like it was rounding quite a bit. But, we got a massive amount of volume here on the 1-hour time frame so far. But, this has happened in the past here too, where we've gotten these and we still ended up continuously dumping. But I did decide to enter here, and I'm willing to hold it and see where it goes. The RSI did bounce here, so it could run up here, at least to this level. We'll see. I am actually just going to hold it for a little bit, and I'll probably just keep my stop loss somewhere below this level here, the lowest point where we got, and see if I can make some kind of play on this if we do decide to have some kind of correction in the market further than what we have. So you can see that we've gotten some green TD9 flashes on the daily there, and a couple days prior. And, we continuously get these spinning tops, and we get a lot of volume here, but we haven't actually, seen any action that was worthy after these spinning tops, because you end up just getting a red day after. So, like I said, this isn't completely confirmation or anything of this thing going ham on us, but we did get this nice bounce here on the RSI, and it kind of, to me, which would make sense, is it looks like an inverse head and shoulders potentially right here, which would make sense because it would be the opposite of the Dow Jones, which was making the head and shoulders that it kind of looks like. So we're getting the opposite kind of price action, and that's what we're looking for here. So you can see that this daily could be actually coming up to cross, but it doesn't have to, and it can have a fake out here. But I'm kind of looking at this daily MACD a little bit as well, and looking at this inverse head and shoulders potential. Doesn't have to, but the downtrend that it's been in obviously is crazy, because that's what the Dow's been doing, is going the opposite way. So this is just something that I'm looking for. If we could actually find some support in the 1170 area, that might be a safer play than to just come in here and jump in. But I'm kind of doing that, and maybe I'll look for some profit taking either in this 1230 or 1260 level if it does want to run up there. I'm not sure. Like I said, this thing likes to run up a little bit and then fall, so it could be the wrong move, but I'm kind of feeling like it is almost that time to start hedging, and it's possible that this thing could be, if we do have some kind of market correction here, that this thing could be potentially running up soon. So, we are at an all-time low here, and it looks like we pretty much double bottomed on the weekly there at 1127. So that is a potential area. And then you have your resistance right up here, right around the same Ichimoku cloud resistance at 1240-ish. So, it could be a short-term play at least while the market corrects. But it's just something to consider here. This isn't financial advice or anything. But, I'm kind of watching. If you look on the, this is on the 45-minute time frame, up in the 1170, you're pretty much, it's more of a confirmation here that it is going to run up versus right now. We obviously have this little confirmation here, but it's nothing to be too serious about because it's only on the 45-minute time frame here. But you can see that after we've had one of these kind of bottoming out candles that we just got on this hourly here, we had a decent run up, and this last run up was to about 1166. So that's kind of the level we've been getting rejected on. So, it could just be doing that, coming back up here potentially to this red resistance box at 1162 or so, and then coming back down. So, just keep your eyes on this thing, and you know, it doesn't hurt to throw a couple $100 into it. Not financial advice, but that's kind of where I'm at, because I just want to, even if it stays in there for 3-4 months, and say that Dow Jones or the whole market does decide to correct. I mean, this thing was up in the I actually witnessed it up in like the $19 to $20 level, but you know, at least up in the $13 level wouldn't be a bad move for it. So you know, you have a lot of resistance above right now to get above at this 1173 or 1160, but it's just something to keep in mind, and just a way to kind of keep yourself safe on these times where the market has just been only going down. I mean, being in this thing right now, it's not like it's super profitable anyway, even with the market going down, because the Dow Jones kind of just been sitting there. But there is other plays that you can do that would make you money while the market's correcting, and you just have to figure what those are. But that's kind of where I'm at with this thing. So I'm kind of watching this thing a little bit to see if it can get above any of these levels before I would put a real long in, and that would kind of be a confirmation for me that we're really dropping. But yeah, I think this is a long enough video. I hope this helps. Hit the like button, subscribe, and leave a comment down below if you like this idea.